Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to another episode of English with Mahdi. This is a great opportunity for you to pick up and learn some useful English vocabulary. Basically, I'm here to teach you another 8 vital English words, again by mentioning their pronunciation, definition, synonymous, and their collocations. And at the end of the lesson, I will be giving you a short story highlighting all the words that I've taught here. Now let's get started, shall we? And for the first word, we've got file. File. You might have heard this word a lot. It is actually a noun and a verb. As a noun, it means a collection of information, or a folder or container for keeping papers. Imagine you have many messy papers on your desk, and you take a folder, put them inside, and suddenly everything becomes tidy. This is actually a file meaning as a noun. But what I am curious about here is as a verb, which means to officially give a document to an authority, or to arrange documents in order. Imagine you are pushing a paper through a small window to an office worker. That action actually is a file. For example, we have, I need to file my visa application today. Or, please file these papers alphabetically. Now we have some collocations for file. File is a noun. We have personal file, medical file, audio, and video file. But as a verb, we have to file a report, or to file an application, and to file documents. Here it means to submit documents officially. That's it, dear listeners, and let's go to the second word that we have today, which is fulfill. Fulfill. The stress is on the second syllable, fulfill. And fulfill actually is a verb, and it means to make something become real. It usually comes with dreams and goals. Now we have some synonyms for fulfill, which are achieve, accomplish, and attain. And some collocations, some words that usually come with fulfill, which are fulfill a dream, fulfill a promise, fulfill a goal, fulfill a need. And now we have some examples of fulfill. For instance, she worked hard to fulfill her dream of studying abroad. And you must fulfill all the requirements to get the scholarship. And another one, the teacher's job is to fulfill students' needs. That's it, and now let's go to the third word that we have, which is distribute. Distribute. It consists of 3 syllables actually, and the stress is on the second syllable. Distribute. Distribute. Distribute is a verb, and it means to give something out to many people, or to spread something over an area. Imagine you have a big basket full of apples, and you walk around the classroom and give 1 apple to each student. This is sort of giving something to many people, and it is distribute, which means to share out and spread out the apples. Some similar words to distribute we have, for example, supply, provide, deliver, to spread, and to give out. Now we have some common words that are usually used with distribute. For example, distribute food, distribute papers, distribute money, distribute goods, distribute information. Now let's go to some examples of using distribute in the sentence. For example, the teacher distributed the exam papers to all students. And the company distributed its products to stores across the country. And volunteers distributed food to families in need. That is distribute, dear listeners. And now let's go to the fourth word, and it is condemn. Condemn. It is of 2 syllables, and the stress is on the second syllable. Condemn. Condemn is a verb, and it means to strongly say that something is wrong, bad, or unacceptable. It is to declare something wrong very strongly. Imagine that a B country attacks the C country, for example, and at that time the C country strongly condemns that attack. This is to show that this act is very wrong that's being committed. And we have now some similar words such as criticize, denounce, reject, and some collocations like condemn violence, condemn terrorism, condemn racism, condemn a decision. And some examples like the government condemned the attack, and people around the world condemn violence and discrimination. And the last one, teachers should never condemn students harshly. Now let's move to another word, and it is consult. Consult. Consult is a verb, and it means to ask someone for advice or information. We have consult a doctor, teacher, or a lawyer. Imagine you are confused, holding a question mark above your head. You walk to someone wiser. For example, it might be a doctor, teacher, or an expert, and ask, what should I do? At that time, this action actually is a consult or consulting. It's basically asking for guidance. Now we have some synonyms such as ask, seek advice, seek guidance, and some common words that are used with consult. We have consult a doctor, consult a lawyer, consult a specialist, and consult before making a decision. Now let's look at some examples to be more clear. For example, you should consult a doctor if the pain continues. Another one, before buying a laptop, Ahmed consulted his tech expert friend. And students often consult a dictionary to check meanings. And the last one, the company consulted employees before making changes. That's it, guys. Now let's jump to another word, which is unanimous. Unanimous. Unanimous unanimous is an adjective, and it means that everyone agrees. and 100% agreement, or no one disagrees. That's the meaning of unanimous. For example, we have a unanimous decision, which means everyone chose the same thing, and we have unanimous support, which means everyone supports it. Imagine that 10 people are voting in the classroom, for example, and every single hand goes up for yes. No hands for no. So at that time, all hands up together. So it means all the students are unanimous. It means that everyone agrees. Some synonyms for unanimous. We have united, all agreed, undivided, and with one voice. And some collocations, we have unanimous decision, unanimous vote, unanimous agreement, and unanimous support. Now let's have some examples, which are: the class gave unanimous support to the new plan, and the judges reached a unanimous decision. And the last one, the vote was unanimous. It means that everyone agreed. That's unanimous, dear friends. Now let's go to the 7th word, and it is cultivate. Cultivate. Cultivate is 3 synonyms. Cultivate is 3 syllables, and the stress is on the first syllable. Cultivate. Cultivate. Cultivate is a verb, and it means to develop or improve a skill, quality, or habit, or to build or improve a relationship. For example, the relationship of 2 countries. Imagine that the supreme officials of one country decides to visit their neighbor country to cultivate their relationships. It means that to develop their relationships even better. Now we have some synonyms for cultivate, which are develop, foster, build, improve, encourage, strengthen. And some collocations, we have cultivate skills, cultivate habits, cultivate confidence, and cultivate relationships. Now for the examples, we have: he tries to cultivate a habit of reading every day, and teachers should cultivate students' creativity, and she worked hard to cultivate confidence before the interview. And the last one, it is important to cultivate good friendships. That is cultivate. And now let's jump to the final word that we have today, which is decisive. Decisive. Decisive is an adjective, and it means something that has a strong effect on the final result. For example, a decisive moment means a moment that decides everything. That's very crucial. Imagine that there's a game between 2 football matches, and at the last moment of the game, the attacker scores a goal and brings winning to his team. So actually it is a decisive goal. Now we have some synonyms for decisive. For example, we have key, crucial, and some collocations. We have decisive decision, decisive action, decisive moment, and decisive victory. Now for the examples we have: a decisive leader can solve problems fast. And the final goal was decisive, and the team won the match. And her strong score was the decisive factor in winning the scholarship. That's it, dear listeners. And now let's just wrap up the whole lesson with the short story by mentioning all the 8 words that we mentioned today. Okay, now let's read the story that we have. Sarah kept an important file on his desk that contained his plans to fulfill his dream of becoming a great English teacher. Before starting, he decided to consult his mentor, who gave him decisive advice, which is start teaching with confidence. The next day, she distributed new vocabulary worksheets to his students. They all agreed that his new method was excellent. Their support was unanimous. She continued to cultivate his teaching skills, always staying positive and productive. He also reminded his students to be kind and never to condemn others for their mistakes, because learning takes time and patience. That's it, dear brothers and sisters. I hope you the best. Bye bye.